According to our next guest, legal issues and paranormal activity collide and work together more than one might think. Now, whether it's dealing with the loss of a loved one, a murder, or haunted real estate, Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, is back to talk about it. Mark, so good to see you again.
Thanks, Alex. I love coming back to Tucson and being here on the Morning Blend.
It's always nice to have you. So first of all, psychic lawyer. Most people might think that those sort of contradict each other. What does that mean, psychic lawyer?
Well, I was born a psychic medium, and I'm a practicing attorney licensed in Florida, Washington, D.C., and before the U.S. Supreme Court. And both jobs revolve on evidence. As a lawyer, I have to use evidence to prove my case in court, and as a psychic medium, I have to present verifiable evidence transmitted to me by spirits.
Now, how do you use that psychic ability in your practice and in everyday cases?
It gives me insights into people, into situations. It certainly doesn't make me all-knowing and all-seeing, but it does help me get to the heart of the matter and finding the truth in a situation.
And now I mentioned some of the different examples, but maybe you can sort of expand on them a little more. What are some examples of how this legal system, our legal system, and the paranormal sort of come together and work in tandem?
Well, in this particular episode today, haunted real estate, how the legal system and the paranormal collide, because, you know, we all joke about haunted houses, but there's a lot of people who are afraid to buy a property that's stigmatized by a haunted reputation, and that can have both financial and legal ramifications. In fact, in the state of New York, the landmark case, Stambovsky versus Ackley, is where a contract for sale of a house was actually rescinded, overturned by the court, because the seller was always advertising that this was a haunted house and conducted haunted tours of it, but didn't disclose that to the buyer. So the court didn't say it's haunted as a matter of law, it's that a significant detail was not disclosed to the buyer.
And because of all your experience with these different haunted places and haunted properties, you've been called the psychic explorer too. What goes into that name?
In my brand as the Psychic Explorer, Alex, I travel around the world to mystical and spiritual locations. And that's part of what brought me here to Tucson. Not only am I doing an event tomorrow night at the Unity of Tucson where I'll be connecting random audience members with loved ones in spirit, but my adventures brought me to Casa Grande National Monument, which is of tremendous archaeological and cultural significance. But in our exploration of it, I started picking up on some intense residual energy activity in one of the structures, which the archaeologists have not been able to identify. I believe it had a great spiritual, if not religious, significance. So that's part of what I do. My adventures as a psychic explorer lead me to supernatural destinations all over the world.
That's fascinating. And then, of course, your experience as a lawyer, giving advice to people who might have a haunted property or their house is haunted maybe. You say, do you exorcise it or do you advertise it? I mean, there's benefits to both, right?
There are benefits to both. According to the National Association of Realtors, it takes 50% longer to sell a house stigmatized by a haunted reputation, and it generally goes for 3% less than a house that doesn't. However, let's look here in Tucson. You have Hotel Congress. People flock to Hotel Congress because of its haunted location and reputation, because people want to be scared. So in that case, it's bumping up business.
Well, not only is it haunted by the paranormal, it's haunted by ghosts of exes past and people from our past. That's kind of a joke. But anyway, that's fascinating to know that it is actually haunted. And so let's talk about this event going on tomorrow. It's an evening of spirit communication. What can someone expect if they go to it?
What I do is I open up my brain to higher frequencies. I believe that this is not only a matter of faith, but also something verifiable through quantum physics. It's an alignment of frequency. And in my work as a psychic medium, Alex, by helping someone connect with the spirit of a deceased loved one, it helps them understand that the person that meant so much to them didn't disintegrate into nothingness, but rather their soul, who and what they are, continues on in the light that you and I might call God.
And how does your work help people connect with these loved ones? What does it do for them to be able to connect with them again and speak with them?
It brings forth verifiable evidence that the spirits are around them. In other words, when we die, we have to realize that our relationship with someone goes from one of a physical nature to one of a spiritual nature. And I'll have spirits come through and they'll start telling me to convey to the person what happened to them yesterday, things they were talking about in private, things that no one could possibly know and that I couldn't possibly begin to make up. And evidence evidential mediumship provides these facts and data that help people understand that life is eternal. And it really is very comforting when we know that someone that meant so much to us did not cease to exist, but rather continues on in eternity.
Wow. And really quick, tell us about the books you've written.
My first book, Never Letting Go, is a guide on the journey through grief and is recommended by hospices and grief counselors all over the world. And my latest book, Evidence of Eternity, which was up for a Pulitzer Prize, it's now an audio book. Thank you. That was quite an honor when Columbia University in New York City notified me of that. And both my books are in several languages. Evidence of Eternity just came out in French. It's in Serbian, Estonian, Slovak, and a couple other languages that aren't coming to mind at the moment. But both of them have helped people all over the world. And Evidence of Eternity bridges the gap between the spiritual and the scientific.
That's just amazing. Congratulations on everything you've accomplished. I love the fact that you're putting the scientific, evidence-based information with paranormal that really makes it easy for everybody to understand and also to grasp. I mean, it can sometimes be a challenge, I think, for some people to really understand it, but Mark Anthony makes it very simple. So I'm going to get them out to that event tomorrow night. It's going to be really wonderful and wonderfully spiritual, too. So thanks again for joining us here today.
Thank you. And I know that Unity of Tucson is being inundated with calls, so if it's busy, everybody, please call back.
Please hold on. That's right.
Thanks again, Alex. Thank you so much.
See you. Mark will be appearing tomorrow night at Unity of Tucson starting at 7 p.m. For tickets, call 520-577-3300. And for his entire 2018 tour schedule, visit evidenceofeternity.com.